Hello again. Okay, welcome to week one of Essential Unit 1. Essential Unit 1 in APUS history covers the period from 1492 in and around to 1607. So, of course, you probably are already familiar with the fact that 1492 is an important date, not only within the context of US history, but just world history in general. 1492 marks the European discovery of the Americas, of course, with Christopher Columbus's famous voyage. And what that event catapulted the world into another phenomena or movement called the Colombian Exchange. So when the worlds collided, the old world and the new world, the rest of the world had forever changed in terms of the amount of animal products, plant products, and different ideas that were then passed from the old world to the new and vice versa. The number of change that existed, or the amount or degree of change that existed as a result of that, has had a long lasting impact even into today. So it was a very important year, and that marks the beginning of this unit. And then we'll be going all the way through the period 1607. So, really, within this period, 1492 to 1607, we're not going to be talking or looking a lot at the United States in particular, because 1607 was the year that marked the first permanent settlement in what is today the United States, and that was a colony in Jamestown, Virginia. But the period from 1492 to 1607, we're going to take a look at early Spanish colonization and Portuguese colonization of the New World, and some kind of general motivations of European colonists in particular. And we will look at the Colombian Exchange, as I mentioned earlier. So let me take you to the course page. Let's look around. We'll talk about what your responsibilities are as it relates to mastery. We'll talk about pacing. I'll show you the rubric for the unit and get you set on your way for success in this first AP unit. So to the course page. That's the unit outline. When you get to the course page, you're going to want to scroll down. By this point, hopefully you already did that mock exam, and you want to open the next tab that is outlined Essential Unit 1. Again, these dates change from year to year, but you can see the pacing for this school year, and the dates for this unit are outlined there. Let me introduce you to the unit. Every unit is essentially set up in the same way. There's some type of image or map that introduces the unit. This image here is very important because you can see that it outlines Spanish and Portuguese colonization of the Americas, as I mentioned earlier. You can see some Native American empires that existed prior to Spanish colonization, namely the Aztec and the Inca, the Aztec in Mesoamerica and the Inca in South America. You should be able to attach two names to the colonization of those, or the fact that Europeans conquered those two Native American empires. Cortez most famous for conquering the Aztec and defeating Montezuma, and Pizarro most famous for conquering the Inca and defeating Atahualpa. So perhaps you might be familiar with that in studying world history. If not, you're going to learn about it in this unit. So very important map here. So you can see the areas that the Spanish colonized. This line of demarcation here, and you can see the indicator that says to the west Spain and to the east Portugal. This was a treaty that was negotiated in 1494 by the Pope, and essentially it was the line of demarcation separating Spanish colonization from Portuguese colonization. So if you are familiar with Brazil today, you know that the language spoken there is Portuguese, and Brazil was the main colony for the Portuguese in the Americas. You can see that most of the rest was colonized by Spain, and then of course later the British and the French. So if you click on this map, it's going to take you to a wonderful series. It's going to take you to a wonderful series. Sorry about that. And it's this Gilda Lehrman American History Project. And they've done these videos. They're each about 10 minutes long, kind of giving you an introduction to each of the different APUS history time periods. So I would encourage you to watch that video along with listening to me, along with using the College Board resources. The more information you have, the better. That's behind this map. Again, click on the map above to watch that video. And then if you scroll down, you have a unit overview and you have the pacing for the unit. This unit is paced for 2 weeks. It covers a short period of time. And again, this time period changes from year to year. If you scroll down, you have some unit resources here. These are very important. Here's that large textbook file, once again, that I encourage you to download. If the textbook is too weighty for you, here's an easier textbook that you could read. It's called an AMSCO book, and here is the PDF for period 1. From time to time, we'll be reading Howard Zinn. This is an alternate text, and also Gilda Lehrman, they have an entire study guide that you could refer to for Unit 1 as well. Here's another great resource. It's called the American Yelp Reader, filled with lots of primary source documents that you can access, and it's broken down by time period here. We'll be going to that from time to time too. Here are some note-taking tools and a note on notes. You do need to take them. They are part of the rubric. I'm going to encourage you to adopt the note-taking style that you prefer. I do have guided reading notes, and you're welcome to use them. They are lengthy. I will warn you about them. And the guiding reading notes here correlate to the Henrietta textbook up here. You can take Cornell notes. I can give you other note-taking templates if you like. I have an SQ3R method. If you want to use the general outline method, then that is fine too. But your notes will be collected at the end of every unit, so you do have to have some type of notebook that you're keeping for APUS history. Here are some other tools that we'll use. There's a themes handout. APUS history focuses on different themes within the context of the course. You'll learn about them in this first unit. And then, of course, we're going to do a lot of primary source document analysis, and I like to use the HIP method. And this little template here will help you outline documents using that method. We'll get to that in the second week of the unit, okay? Then you can see every week we'll begin with a video message. So you're watching this video right now, and even when you get into week 2, there's another video message for you there. For week 1, you're going to see that the unit is broken down into different topics. These topics come straight from the AP College Board. So within the context of Unit 1, we'll look at contextualizing the time period. So why was this period important? What are some general features that kind of denote the time period from 1492 to 1607? The next topic is Native American societies before 1492. So we'll be looking at some of the features of the different Native American people. European exploration, looking at where the Europeans explored, what were their motivations for exploration. I'm sure you've heard the term God, gold, and glory. And within the context of these units, you'll kind of have a debate on which was the greatest motivating factor. And then we get into the Colombian Exchange, Spanish exploration and conquest, and there's 3 activities that you'll do, getting some background information on the Colombian Exchange. We're going to have a forum here. We're going to have 2 forums in the first week, one on contextualizing the time period and one on Columbus, whether or not he is a hero or a villain. You know, there's been a lot of controversy, especially in the United States over the past few years. Do we celebrate these historical figures of the past who represent some controversy in history? There are statues of figures like Christopher Columbus? Do we keep those statues in place? Do we dismantle them? In this activity here, you'll get a lot of information about Christopher Columbus and even a counterfactual. And in the forum, we will have a little debate on whether or not he should be remembered as a hero or a villain. And our week will finish out with one of these SCORM activities. You can see you have lots of SCORM activities. Hopefully you did the IOL module. It's really important that at the end of every SCORM activity you hit save and submit and email score report. Otherwise, I will not get the answers to the questions that you have typed into this program. So make sure that you follow through on each of those SCORM packages properly so that I can record them in the gradebook and give you feedback. So you can see from week 1, there are activities 1 through 8 that you need to do. Remember, the expectation for this course is that you're spending about 2 hours per day on this class alone. So with that being said, you should see that there is enough time to get through each of these activities from now until next Sunday night when you get the introduction to week 2. And then all of the week 2 videos and activities are down here as well. And you can even see where we're going to get to by the end of the course. So here is an area where you need to upload your notes. Here is a concept map assignment. I probably should introduce this to you now so it's not any big surprise at the end. Essentially what I want you to do with all of your notes is condense them into one page. There's some information on how you can do this. You can do this by hand or you can do it digitally by making a Jamboard. Here's even an example of a Jamboard concept map. On your concept map, it should be comprehensive of the time period that's taught. There should be at least 2 graphics. The AP themes and vocabulary should be represented somehow on the concept map. It would probably be good if you highlighted the different vocabulary in blue, the main ideas in yellow, the themes in green. You can click on these links below to get access to the AP themes and the period 1 vocabulary. And if you've never made a digital poster or concept map, you can watch this little instructional video here on how to create a Jamboard. It's really fun if you want to do this activity digitally. But again, the whole idea is that by the end of the year, you have just 9 pages of notes that you could study from before the big AP exam. And then here is the first unit test. Before you take it, you're encouraged to do the AP College Board progress check. So again, this is where you'll need to have signed into My AP class on the My AP page. And then you can see that the test is not available until September 17th. There are 2 parts to the test. You're going to need at least an hour and a half for it. All of these test questions come from the AP College Board, so you'll be getting practice throughout the year in the style of questions that they are asking you and wanting you to be prepared for the exam. So in a nutshell, that is Essential Unit 1, and those are the activities that I want you to do for week 1. Again, begin with the video. It gives you a nice little overview. Take into consideration what I told you about the map. If AMSCO is too heavy, if Henrietta is too heavy, then use the AMSCO option here and make every effort to get all of these activities outlined in week 1 done by next Sunday. Okay. If at any time within the course of week 1 you are confused or you don't know how to move forward, please don't be afraid to contact me. I am happy to help. Have a good week.